Did you hear Wolverine opened a bakery? His specialty is croissants. Welcome to today's Comic Book Editions video, where I have a haul from Unknown Comics to share with you that includes many ratio incentive covers and exclusives. There's some good stuff to see, and I'm happy that you're here for it. So welcome. At the end of March, beginning of April, Unknown Comic Books held probably the best sale I've ever seen them hold, with stuff definitely priced to move, including ratio incentive covers and exclusive variants, many of which were priced under original cover price. You hardly ever see sales like that anywhere, and I took full advantage of it. Today you'll see the books that I purchased from that sale that I've added into my collection. There's only one DC, the rest are Marvel. Let's get started with that only DC one. It's Justice League Unlimited, Volume 2, Issue number 3, published earlier this year in January of 2025. This is the 1 in 25 Tyler Kirkham ratio exclusive. Of course, the rest of the creative team on this title is writer Mark Waid and then interior artist Dan Mora. So this story reveals the name of Renee Montoya's dog, who had previously been introduced, but the name was not revealed until this issue, and the dog's name is Blue. And Airwave's real name is revealed in this issue as Harold Jordan Levy. When they say unlimited, it is literally like the Justice League JLU cartoon. We have two different Adams, Ray Palmer and Ryan Choi. We have Dr. Occult, Mr. Terrific, The Flash, The Question, Plastic Man, Stargirl, Star Sapphire, Superman, Airwave, Aquaman, Batman, Blue Beetle, the Captain, Elongated Man, the Metal Men are in here, Red Tornado, Stripe, Wonder Woman, Zatanna, and more. That is a loaded Justice League comic book if I've ever seen one. The only other Justice League comic book that I have in my collection is issue number 5, and I have the International Women's History variant. That story wasn't so much my favorite until the end, because the end definitely set up the return of the Legion of Doom. And I love how in the last decade or so, DC has really embraced the Legion of Doom concept, which really came from the old Bronze Age Super Friends, Challenge of the Super Friends specifically cartoon. So when there's a variant, an incentive ratio that I can get less than original cover price, because normally a 1 in 25 would sell in a comic store for $20 to $25 just for this cover. When I can get this for under cover price and Wonder Woman is prominent and featured dead center on the cover, I'm not going to pass that up. And I'm happy I did it. So that is the one and only DC book that's in my collection. Before we move on to the Marvel, I'll say if you're a DC fan, you'll want to join me for Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. It's Sunday nights, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 7:15 p.m. Central on my YouTube channel. We always have a lot of fun talking about the latest DC Comics news and spotlighting a previous title, a previous amount of issues as the Retro Review. Make plans to join me. And when I say me, that also includes Signature King, Tony Fett, and we have silver-haired Bronze Age Babe with us a lot of times, and special guests too. So it will be a bunch of fun this upcoming Sunday. It will be our next show. If you caught this past weekend show, thank you so much for the support. Let's move on to the Marvel portion of this Unknown Comics haul. And another facsimile for you. I shouldn't say another, but we're going to be showing many facsimiles in today's haul. This is the Secret Wars, Marvel Secret Wars issue 8 facsimile, which was published also earlier in 2025. This is the 1 in 25 ratio incentive. And the artist for this is Gleb Melnikov. And I think it's a cool cover. It's really kind of a sideways cover when you stop and look at the buildings are kind of like this and Spidey swinging sideways. But I wasn't familiar with this cover, but I love it. I know you're familiar with the original cover by Mike Zeck for this, with Spidey decked out prominent in the black suit. Essentially, this story, to recap, so much going on in the Secret Wars, but Battleworld is about to be consumed by Galactus. Spider-Man's back in action. He gets his new black costume. Then all of the assembled heroes, including the X-Men joining them, mount an assault against Galactus. And Reed Richards is wondering if that's the right thing to do. So Marvel went and republished these as facsimiles, including the original ads, all 12 issues of Secret Wars. And I've gotten a foil one before, which I showed in a previous comic book editions video. But being able to get this for under original cover price when it's a ratio incentive exclusive, and let's face it, the black suit Spidey costume is just pretty awesome, don't you think? I think you agree with me on that. So getting the chance to get this at such a good price is one I didn't want to pass up. Complete cover by, I do have the original Marvel Secret Wars miniseries, and I also have Secret Wars 2 in my collection as well, but I just wanted this for this cover and I liked it a lot. If this would have been a print or a poster, I think that would look sharp. We're going to enter into the mutant section of today's comic book editions video. How about my girl Dazzler, and specifically Disco Dazzler is really my girl. Rise of the Powers of X, issue number 4 is this comic book. This was published in 2024, just about a year ago, just a little over a year ago, this came out. The story itself was a little lost on me when I hadn't been following the whole Krakoa thing and how they were cleaning up what had happened and setting up the future for the X-Men. So the story wasn't so much something that I got into, but I bought the book for the cover. And this, as a trade dress, was available normally at regular LCSs, just as a variant cover. But the Virgin variant of this, which is a David Nakayama cover, a DNA variant, was an Unknown Comics exclusive. And I had the trade dress, and I thought I'd be okay with it until I got the opportunity to get this at such a good price. And I think David just knocked it out of the ballpark with this image too. And I like the Virgin variant so much more than I like the trade dress cover. It had to come into the collection, especially because it's Disco Dazzler. That's what I really, really like. The story here, Kieron Gillian as a writer and R.B. Silva as interior artist for this Rise of the Powers of X, issue number 4. But I'm not done with Dazzler. So Dazzler, in the fall of last year, had her own 4-issue miniseries. This was a Leirix exclusive cover for issue number 1. And Unknown Comics had this and a Virgin variant. I just got done saying how much I like the Virgin variant of Rise of the Powers of X. I actually like the trade dress version of this a little bit better than I liked the Virgin variant, which is why I decided to pick this one up. Jason Liu was the writer. So the series overall was fun. This first issue I really got into. It reminded me of the old Dazzler with nods to the past, but yet being modern and current and fresh at the same time. I know that Jason is planning on doing another Dazzler project this year, which I originally think was supposed to come out in April, but has been moved to June, I think. And I'm planning on supporting that as well, because I love my Dazzler. I just said I love my Disco Dazzle a little bit more than this costume, but I'm going to let, I've got to have some representation. So I'm going to let this costume, or at least this cover, represent her other costume in my collection. But the best cover out of all of these was the one that the Frame Brothers did for me, which featured Jem in the holograms and had a nod to Satin from the G.I. Joe cartoon. That was on a previous comic book editions video that if you didn't see, you should look up and watch on my channel, because they knocked it out of the ballpark. And so many people were like, oh my gosh, it looks like a real published cover, a variant that you could have found somewhere. And it should have been. But it was my entire concept, and to see that come to life, it was even better than what I had hoped it would be. So that made me extremely happy. Dazzler's second appearance happened in X-Men issue number 131, originally a 1979 comic book. This is the facsimile, and it's the foil facsimile, which was an exclusive to Unknown Comics. Now, in the past, Marvel had offered foil versions of X-Men 130 everywhere at any comic shop. So I thought 131, the foil version of that, wouldn't be an exclusive, but it ended up becoming an exclusive. And then they did end up doing foil versions for some of the feature facsimiles that they had done in this line. So John Byrne, Chris Claremont. This is part 3 of the Dark Phoenix Saga. This cover, iconic, it's good. I myself might have liked maybe a different cover that showcased Phoenix more. When you look at the Dark Phoenix Saga, Jean is only on about half of those covers, and she's like the prominent featured character in that entire saga. So I wish that she had been a little bit more prominent in it. I had the foil of 130, which was Dazzler's first appearance. I do have the originals as well, but I thought I would add this one into the collection as well, given the price was at a point that I never thought it would be that low. So that's one of the reasons I snagged it up. And besides offering that exclusive foil, they had their own exclusive cover for the facsimile of 130. Now this is a little bit more what I'm talking about. Jean at least is a little more prominently featured here with the with the White Queen. I thought those two battling, kind of like the interior panel of Jean all lit up as Phoenix and those two are kind of battling, would have been a really cool cover with some of the X-Men surrounded on the sides. Just in my mind, that's kind of what I thought it would be. I do like this exclusive variant for it too. Dan Panosian did the art for this. Are you buying the X-Men 131 and on facsimiles because they're doing an entire year of them? If you've been buying any of them, make sure to let me know in the comments section below. Let's look at issue 132, the facsimile for this. This is a 1:25 ratio exclusive that's done by Yoon. I believe that's how you pronounce his name, Y-O-O-N. Not my favorite, but I ended up getting a 1:25 for less than the original cover price. I couldn't pass that up. I'm going to get on my soapbox for just a minute. I was so excited when I saw that there were going to be some variant covers for these Year of X-Men facsimiles that they're doing from this era. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am so super stoked for those. I've been disappointed in most of the ratio exclusive covers. This one's okay. The 1:25 for issue 133 is a little bit better. It's Wolverine attacking the Hellfire Club. There was a 131 ratio exclusive with Emma, White Queen. And I liked the art, but the background, it was so generic and boring and plain that I didn't care for that. And the 134, I was so excited. I'm like, I can't wait to see 134 because I'm sure it's going to be Black Queen. Jean is Black Queen. I'm sure it's going to be. And then when I finally saw what the 1:25 ratio exclusive for issue 134 was, and it was Jean is Black Queen, it was so not for me. I was not into that artwork in the least bit at all. Hugely disappointing. I wouldn't have gotten this had the price not been as affordable and cheap, and I knew I'd never get the opportunity to find it at this price again. So that's why I ended up adding this into the collection. Unknown Comics also did their own exclusive variant for issue number 132. This is done by Leirix, who we just talked about a moment ago. I'm going to give you the answer before I make the statement. The answer is what I've been saying all along. Because it was so cheap and so affordable, that's why I got it. I'm disappointed in this cover. I love Jean as Black Queen. What I don't like about this is a few things. To me, when Jean is Black Queen, she's completely transformed and not in control of herself. Mastermind is in control of her. Jason Wyngard, he's in control of her when she's Black Queen. And I look at this cover and she has her hair down, which is so Jean, and she's doing the hands up by the head, which is such a Jean move. And I'm like, that's not what I want when I see Black Queen. I want the hair up in the bun. I want her to be, evil. Borderline evil. I want her to be part of the Hellfire Club. And when I look at this, I just see Jean dressed as Black Queen. And when she's Black Queen, she doesn't behave as Jean. That's what I don't like about it. In a moment, you're going to hear what I do like about this cover in just a moment. But first, I'll remind you that if you're new to my channel and haven't subscribed yet, I hope you'll take this opportunity to do so. Sharing the channel and the video with someone that you think might enjoy it is a great way to show support. Give me a thumbs up because the algorithm loves that, a heart, a like. And at the end of the video, I'll be asking for your comments, which are welcomed, encouraged, and appreciated. So let's move on to the final book in my collection from this Unknown Comics sale haul, which is the Leirix exclusive variant for X-Men 133 Facsimile. This has Emma, and it's as you can tell, a companion piece. And now that's what I can say why I really like the former one that I showed you with Jean as Black Queen, because it's the companion piece to this. I really like this and this artwork and this style when it's Emma. This fits appropriately. The other one, which I get, they're supposed to be mirror images. They're supposed to be companion pieces. And that's why I got the set. But I really like this one, even though Emma really isn't in the story. And I have to get on my soapbox for just a minute, too. If I didn't mention it, it's X-Men 133 Facsimile Edition. So many places incorrectly say this is the first solo Wolverine story. That is not correct. It's the first solo Wolverine cover, the original is, but it's not the first solo Wolverine story. Wolverine's taking on the Hellfire Club alone in like the first 6 pages of this issue, but the rest of the X-Men are in this issue. And it's a big part of the Dark Phoenix Saga, too. They've been captured by the Hellfire Club. Wolverine's trying to figure out what's going on and free them, and then you got Jean really descending into the Black Queen role because she's consumed by Mastermind. It's not a solo Wolverine story, and I hate when people say it's a first solo Wolverine story. It isn't. First solo Wolverine cover. There's a difference between cover and story. Does that bother you? That's just one of my little comic book things that bother me when people refer to it like that. So there you go. This Leirix exclusive cover for the X-Men 133 Facsimile rounds out the books added into my collection from this huge Unknown Comics sale. What was your favorite out of what I showed you today? As I said, your comments are welcomed, encouraged, and appreciated. I love reading them. We have the back issue of the week YouTube short that came out yesterday on my channel, talking about a comic book in my collection. I'd love for you to check that out. I mentioned Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, the greatest DC comic show on YouTube, which is Sunday nights on my YouTube channel. You've come to the end of today's comic book editions video. If you're a returning viewer, I certainly appreciate you coming back. If you're a new viewer, it's great to have you here, and I hope you saw something that you liked. There's a lot of great stuff coming up on the channel that I look forward to sharing with you soon. Until that time, I hope you have a happy, healthy, and safe rest of your week, and I'll catch you soon. Take care. This story, written by Dan Waid, video, where I have an Unknown Comics, it will be the best sale I've ever seen them with you, which includes many, like a 1 in 25 would be priced at a normal store. I don't want to say normal store like they're not normal. Welcome to today's comic book exclusive video. Comic book exclusive. I've never called a comic book exclusive in my life.